Discipline enjoyers be like.
Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god!
Hello everyone, in today's video I will be breaking down the Discipline Omnicell and why you might or might not want to use it. Let's get started, shall we? First off, Discipline is an offensive Omnicell that gives you significantly increased damage at the cost of healing reduction and damage taken. Discipline focuses a lot on timing and understanding the behemoth movement patterns. Each Omnicell has an active and passive ability. We'll start with the Discipline passive ability. It is as follows. Critical strike chance and damage increased by 10%. Healing is reduced by 50%. Reaching max stacks of flaming fists makes you disciplined, increasing your critical strike chance by 50% for 40 seconds, while also increasing damage received by 100%. When discipline ends, stacks are cleared. Now the active discipline ability, or your tap ability, is perform a quick parry punch that deals 200 blaze damage. Parrying an attack does plus 300% damage and grants a stack of flaming fists, which gives you plus 4% critical strike damage. This can stack 4 times with a 15-second cooldown. There's essentially only one playstyle to discipline. Now there is 2 methods to the madness, but overall one core concept, and that is executing flawless fights against behemoths. Now the 2 methods I mentioned earlier are as follows. You acquire 3 stacks of discipline and stay there, never using your tap ability, or only using your tap ability as a normal attack to stagger. You can use your tap ability without acquiring a flaming fist stack. You just have to time it properly. This is a bit of a safer playstyle, but you won't put out as much damage. Now the other playstyle is simply the flawless glass cannon playstyle. You are just as earlier described, an absolute glass cannon, but if anything hits you, you will be destroyed. This playstyle sees you using your parry tap ability as your only real means of defense against attacks, but on the other hand, expects you to enter and be in discipline state as often as possible. This playstyle will allow you to increase your damage output exponentially. Now some quick maths. If you are disciplined, you have an increased crit damage percentage of 16%, and your crit strike chance is increased by 50%, making essentially each hit a crit. Now say you're rocking Cunning, Galvanized, and Pulse. That will give you plus 60% crit damage. Throw that on top of that 16% crit from Disciplined, you're looking at a total of 76% increased crit damage. Now the cherry on top of that being Predator. Since you shouldn't be getting hit with Discipline, Predator will give you an increased 35% base damage, not crit damage. This will only increase your crit damage exponentially, since crit damage plays off of your base damage. Here's a few great cells to consider when building your Discipline loadout. Cunning, Galvanized, Predator, Pulse. You throw an overpower if you're using a weapon like strikers, hammer, axe. That would be a great option as well. A few quick tips for Discipline. When first beginning to use it, take time to practice the timing on the parry punch ability. It will take some getting used to on what will grant you stacks and what won't, or what will just stagger, for example. The black square with the white flame represents your discipline, with the number representing the amount of stacks. When reaching max stacks, you will acquire an extra flame icon and you will glow orange, signifying you have become disciplined. Now, how to acquire disciplined? You first must unlock Discipline in the Slayer's Path for 500 steel marks, which are earned from completing normal trials. You can only get 300 steel marks each week for trials max, so it's going to take you 2 weeks to get Discipline. Now you still have to craft it. You will craft it, and the crafting requirements are as follows. You will need 1500 rams, 15 phoenix opal, which can be collected in the hunting grounds, 1 smoldering bloodhide, which is a rare drop from slaying a bloodfire embermane, 4 scorched rock hides, which is a common drop from the leg of any Cherog, 5 flameborn shin plates, which is a common drop from the leg of a flameborn Nasher, and 2 flameborn quill shards, which are common drops from the quills of a flameborn Nasher. Now, before we wrap things up, let's take a look at some overall pros and cons for Discipline to help weigh out our options when it comes to Dauntless Omnicells. Alright, that wraps up today's video. If this Omnicell isn't for you, then I encourage you to check out my other Omnicell videos found in the Omnicell playlist on my channel. I cover each one in depth by going over playstyles, crafting requirements, tips and tricks, and some overall pros and cons to help you decide which one is right for you. This has been Critical Agenda Gaming. Thank you for watching. Peace out.